Hello everyone, standing in front of Sagrada Familia, Spain's Barcelona's architecture marvel, a tribute that stands in memory of Antoni Gaudí, the architect whose vision was completely different from the entire world. An UNESCO heritage site, this has seen World War I, World War II and Spain's very own civil war. The civil war went more than 40 years and it is a piece of testimony. This is still under construction for almost close to 150 years and expected to be completed somewhere around 2026. Still there are very minor parts that needs to be completed. Hope to see it soon in completion. This is one of Baroque masterpiece, Gothic and the modern architecture combined together. This is the 100th year after Gaudí's death and hence they wanted to complete the church within this year. Gaudí was a masterful architect. He didn't want to imagine faces. He brought people from the local community and children from hospital to have an exact replica of how they appear. Gaudí wanted Barcelona to remember its children forever. You are looking at 144 years of construction. When the last tower, the main tower, is completed, it will be the tallest church in the entire world. Gaudí made sure that God is always the tallest, and hence he kept this construction to be 1 meter shorter than the tallest mountain in the local regions. How many of you know that this church has 18 towers in total? 12 for the apostles, 4 for the evangelist, 1 for Mother Mary, and the tallest of all that is under construction and expected to be completed in the early 2026 is for Jesus. Gaudí carved the entire Bible on stone for the world to see and admire the beauty. Look at these tall towers that surround the center. There are a great marble statues on top of each towers. Angel for Matthew, lion for Mark, ox for Luke, and eagle for John. Gaudí wanted to contribute and acknowledge the contributions of these evangelists, captured in a brilliant way. What you see here are the prototypes of what Gaudí used for his construction. Gaudí was way ahead in prototypes. Gaudí never believed on lines and papers. He never used drawings. Rather, he used prototypes and real-life models to construct this church. That's exactly why one of his professors said, and I quote, "We are either creating a madman or a genius." And Gaudí turned out to be a wonderful genius that the world has never seen before. Now look at the stomach of this angel who is blowing a trumpet. You see a face, and the locals attribute it to Gaudí as God's thanks to Gaudí himself. Gaudí worked on this church for 43 years, out of which he was planning for 30 years. Only this glory facade was the one that was completed during the period of Gaudí. Gaudí died at the age of 74 when he was hit by the tram during those days. You see this iron cage? The snake biting an apple is locked inside in stone. This is Gaudí's way of saying that the good is protected from the evil. The Passion facade is a complete 180-degree opposite to what we saw earlier. Gaudí wanted this to look completely like a skeleton, dull and full of pain, but there was controversy from the audience that it looked like Star Wars characters when they were installed. However, Gaudí wanted to convey the pain that the god was going through. You see this grid? That's called the magic square. Every row and diagonal adds up to 33. The age of Jesus. Gaudí has mastered it brilliantly. The exterior showed the story of Bible in stone. The interior shows the story of Spirit in light. Step inside the Sagrada Familia and you will immediately realize this is unlike any other cathedral in the world. Gaudí wanted the interior of Sagrada Familia to feel like a massive stone forest. Look at the columns. They don't just stand straight up. They branch out like the trees to support the roof. By mimicking nature, Gaudí was able to create a space that feels alive and organic rather than rigid and heavy. One of the most magical parts of being inside is watching the lights change. Gaudí meticulously planned the stained glass windows to create a specific emotional atmosphere. On the Nativity side, you see cool blues and greens, symbolizing the birth of Christ and hope. As you move towards the Passion side, the colors shift to deep red and oranges, reflecting sacrifice and fire. The light is never static. It travels through the church as the sun moves, making the stone look like it's glowing. Technically, what you are seeing here is a revolution in architecture. Traditional Gothic cathedrals require heavy external buttresses to keep the walls from falling outward. Gaudí hated those crutches. Instead, he used these angled branching columns to distribute the thousands of tons of weight straight down into the ground. This allowed him to fill the walls with massive windows, letting in maximum amount of natural light. He spent decades studying how to make this structure self-supporting using only geometry found in nature. As we approach the altar, look up at the baldachin. It hangs like a canopy over the central space, drawing your eyes towards the heavens. You will also notice the use of different materials. The columns aren't all made of same stone. The largest, red-tinted columns are made of porphyry, one of the hardest stones on earth, brought all the way from Iran to support the weight of the central towers. Every color and texture was chosen to represent a different part of the spiritual journey. When Gaudí was a child, he suffered from severe arthritis, which often kept him from playing with other kids. Instead, he spent his time in countryside, observing the shapes of trees, bones, and mountains. He believed that nature was the greatest teacher, and there were no straight lines in God's creation. This church is an ultimate tribute to that belief. It is a place designed to make you feel small, but also connected to something much larger. Even a century after his death, we are still uncovering the secrets he hid within these walls. Many of us, while admiring the beauty of Sagrada Familia's windows, will fail to notice one thing. These windows have names of saints, cities, and places from around the world. Gaudí placed them so that the faith was not born in isolation is the message that he conveys to the world. It lived through real people in real places across centuries. The saint represents the spiritual journey. The places mark faith spread across continent. Together they turn light into a map of Christianity, local, global, and alive. As the sun moves, different names appears, reminding us that meaning like faith reveals itself over time. At least to say, the best that human creativity can ever imagine. A salute to Antoni Gaudí.